Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear this Wednesday morning. Got a big show lined up and got a big week going on. So let's get started. We got a good guest here in the studio. You're going to really enjoy having Travis Bassford from the FWC with us. Comes once a month and all kind of information and pictures and all. But first, let's get our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. That construction almost finished there. It's looking good. High today 73, low 65. Now that's a big plus right there. It's been cold, the last few mornings and all. So it's, in fact, it got down to 39 and 40. But anyway, hopefully that cool snap's over with. But we do have some rain coming. Water temperature dropped down also down to 64. River readings, taking a look on the screen, Apalachicola, Bluntstown, 11.8. And is it on the rise? The Choctaw at Caryville right at 10 foot. Remember yesterday, both of them are 10.2. And the Choctawhatchee is going the other way. Choctawhatchee is going down and Apalachicola going up. So take your pick. And that's one of the blessings we have here in the Florida Panhandle. You can find somewhere to go to fit your mood. If you like to fish rising water, then you want to go to Apalachicola. You want to fish dropping water, go to Choctawhatchee River. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. We're all week long. We're in deep tides, and not just for a couple of days. This full moon. Of course, it'll be tonight, and it just flattened out the tides. And in fact, we don't have any good tides until really next week. Even this weekend is going to be some not much tidal flow. So I really talk a lot about the moon phases and how the tide affects us, and this is one of them right here. Marine forecast: south-southeast at about 5 to 10. Now, let's take our break and be right back with Travis. All right, welcome back and welcome to Travis. I'm not going to shake his hand because obviously he can't shake his hand, but glad to have you, Travis.
Good morning. The show must go on.
Well, first of all, tell folks about this cast now because they're going to be calling me, so you tell them ahead of time.
If at first you don't succeed, you got to try again. I was in that splint a while back, and that didn't work out too good, so I had to have some surgery about a week ago to repair some torn cartilage in there. When they got in there, it was a little worse than they thought. There was actually 2 tears instead of 1.
Oh, man.
But anyways, we're going to get back. This is my gun hand and my reeling hand for fishing, so I got to get it healed up quick.
That's 2 important things right there.
Exactly.
The gun and the reel. So how much longer will you have it on?
I'm going to have it about 6 more weeks.
Okay.
Is what the doctor's saying, and hopefully I can get back to duty and back to being outside.
Oh man, I know you miss it and all. Well,
oh yeah.
But yeah, I know you've been around it, and of course a lot of things going on. But you sent me some pictures last night. This is fascinating. So tell us about this picture right here.
This is a pretty cool story. We had Major Bruce Cooper, Becca Nelson, our public information person I know you have on the show before, and our marine fisheries biologist Michelle Simsarot. They were offshore last week, and they had a kayaker flag them down and say, "Hey, I saw 2 deer run in the Gulf from the state park, and they're heading out to sea." And they said, "Really?" And she gave them the general location. They were able to locate the deer. Well, they first thought it was a couple birds sitting on the water, and when they got closer, they saw it were the ears of a doe and a yearling, and they were about a mile offshore, south of the state park, San Andreas State Park, and they were heading south. And so I see you got the pictures up, and they circled around them and kind of had to herd them back because they were heading, hard south.
Wow.
And we're thinking they probably got spooked. We got a lot of people coming to the state park with spring break and stuff and got spooked, hit the water, and just were going. So they turned them around, were able to herd them back after some time and some coaxing back to the state park. There was like 2 to 4 foot seas. There's a picture of the yearling there getting back on shore.
Great picture.
And we were able to, have a successful rescue and get them back, because otherwise I think they'd have been shark bait if they'd have kept going.
Well, you know what? They really would have, or they probably would have just drowned if nothing happened.
Exactly.
But that's an amazing story. Well, that's a wonderful picture there. You're coming from the Gulf, looking toward those sand. Those sand dunes look magnificent, don't they?
Exactly.
That's all the job that y'all do as FWC officers. That's got to be one of the fun ones right there.
It's rewarding when we can do stuff like that. And those pictures were taken by Becca Nelson. Again, she was on the boat.
Yeah.
And great pictures and a great story. And deer are good swimmers. I've seen them swim a lot, but not in that big of water for that long, because they'll swim back and forth from the state park to Shell Island. We've got some at Bay Point, the Navy base, but they were definitely heading out to sea. So it was a good thing they were out there to turn them back.
Yeah, you wonder, all the times how they get to islands and all, and that's exactly how they just swim there and all.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it was a pretty cool story.
That is a good story.
All right. So from the salt, let's jump back to the woods, because last weekend was a big weekend for a lot of people in the Panhandle. We had opening day of spring turkey, and a lot of successful hunts from what I'm hearing. And just want to remind everyone on that, bag limits on that for our area, Northwest region. 2 per season, 1 per day, bearded turkeys only. Unless you're in Holmes County, we still have the Holmes County where you can only kill 1 per year. We've had restricted harvest there for a long time now, and they're trying to get the populations back. I've talked to officers in that area. They said the populations are coming back, so hopefully that'll, get the same as the rest of the Panhandle soon. But as of right now, if you're in Holmes County, remember only 1 turkey per year up there. So, and have you heard a lot of successful hunts?
We've had some. I'm going to show you a lot of pictures on Friday's show. They've been coming in. The youth hunt was very successful as far as 3 or 4 pictures of youth. I've showed those, and then other guys have done pretty well. And of course, some, but same kind of story. They got them in close, but not close enough. But that's a challenge, and that's why people love turkey hunting and all.
Oh yeah,
it's been a pretty decent beginning.
It has, and that's what makes it fun. It's not always about getting one; it's the chase. And another thing with turkeys, I say this every year, and any experienced turkey hunter knows, but some people still have their deer feeders running or what have you. But remember, you got to stay 100 yards from any bait, whether it be a feeder, any kind of seed, cracked corn, whole corn, anything like that. Make sure you're 100 yards away, and every year we've got people that don't like to follow that rule, but for the most part people do. So just a reminder, because sometimes people will be walking around, they deer hunt the same areas they turkey hunt, and if your feeder's still going, make sure to stay away at least 100 yards away.
Yeah.
So,
well, most people that like I say, if they deer hunt and turkey hunt together, they are going to be in the same location.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll get people coming in also want to get an Osceola turkey and they're down south of us, and then we'll have those folks coming up here that want to hunt something too. So we got over 1 million acres of land up here to hunt on. It's amazing.
It is. I mean, you look at Florida compared to a lot of other states, and we've been blessed with a lot of good public hunting land. So. Okay.
All right, we got a good opportunity to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We're looking at some stuff here. This is fascinating. First of all, tell us what we were just talking about. Tell us, folks.
All right, so what we were talking about is we've got some invasive plants, invasive aquatic vegetation that's been found in Deer Point Lake, and that's the most popular lake I think we have here. It's our water supply for Bay County, and I grew up on Deer Point, and I was talking to Derek Fussell yesterday, one of our biologists over at the regional office. The name of the plant, I think I'm saying this right, is giant salvinia.
Okay, if you're not saying it right, we won't know the difference. So that's
exactly, it sounds good, don't it? So anyways, it's from Brazil or South America, and they found it in Deer Point. And the reason they're concerned about this is it's like one of those floating mats that can spread quickly with wind and current if it's not taken care of. And FWC is taking an aggressive stance on this. Any invasive plant or fish and wildlife, for the most part, we try to take it out because it's damaging to our native plants and our native fish and wildlife. So what they're trying to do is they're going to be attacking this pretty aggressively. If you know where North Bayhead boat ramp is, I think we're trying to pull it up there on the ramp.
Okay, there's Deer Point Lake right here. Okay, so there's that's the northern part, Northern Bayhead. Now Bayhead, I love that area because it's one of the original areas here. Let's see.
I think it's a little farther north.
We got to go up north a little bit.
Yeah, it's right there at the mouth of Bear Creek and Econfina Creek, a little bit higher, I think.
High Point.
And
keep traveling north.
Yep. Keep going up.
Indian Bluff.
Right there around Indian Bluff. The 2301 to Indian Bluff to, I think, Cherokee Street. Not Cherokee Boat Landing, but the actual North Bayhead ramp.
So it was found there, huh?
That's where they found the most of it. There's some canal systems. There's a lot of canal systems, but there's some canal systems that run right in there. And if you go up in that area, if you're up there the next month, it's going to be closed for about the next month. You're going to see it's almost like a silt fence for the water, or that yellow boom. And what they're trying to do is close it in there to keep it from floating. And then they're going to be treating that area with some herbicides. Now, all these herbicides, they're approved by the EPA as well as DEP for waterways that are used by animals and humans. So there's no restrictions to fishing or swimming. But what Derek was telling me yesterday, excuse me, is if they see the boom, try to stay away from it. Don't try to go in there unless you live in one of those canals. If you can fish somewhere else, we'd appreciate it, because they're trying to contain this stuff. And the reason why, he said, it's really bad in Texas and Louisiana.
Really?
And it has just taken over, and they don't want that here. I mean, we've got a lot of different species of aquatic vegetation in Deer Point. We've put the grass carp in there years ago to try to eat some of the milfoil and keep that down. We've got lemon pacopa, we've got hydrilla, but this right here, he said, is bad stuff. So they're wanting to really be aggressive with it. They're actually hiring another OPS person just for this project. And again, so Bayhead boat ramp, if you use that, you got South Bayhead, you still got Cherokee Landing in that area that you can use. And just watch out for that yellow boom. It's going to be all around that boat ramp and in that canal system. If you're familiar with that, if you fish up there, you duck hunt, you know there's a canal system right there to the north of that ramp. And we just ask that everyone try to stay away from it. And we were talking about before the break, how does something like that get here?
From Brazil to Deer Point Lake.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I asked him that because I was wondering, and he said they first found it in a pond up there in a fountain, and what they're thinking happened in a garden pond. Someone had a little, kind of rock pond or a little fish pond, and they got it from either a plant store or a pet store. It got in there, and they're pretty confident the way it got in the lake was either like a beaver or a wood duck or an otter or something went in that pond, got it on their body somehow. And wood ducks, they're puddle ducks. They can land in a puddle and take off from a puddle. Yeah. So, and then they got into Deer Point, brought it into Deer Point. So it's crazy how that stuff happens.
I can see how that would happen too. Years back when we had the hydrilla and all, it came from boat motors. I mean, when we finally, originally no one really knew that, how they got in there. Then the biologists started looking at it and said, well, that's what's going on now. And so everybody's real aware of that now.
That's right.
Boat propellers. So.
Yep, and I had my uncle come visit from Colorado earlier this spring, and he said they're very serious on every time you pull out and every time you launch, you've got to check your trailer, your boat, and everything, make sure you don't have any weeds on there so it doesn't get transferred. And he just said we want to take care of it on Deer Point, because if something like this was to get into Ochisi Pond or the Mill Pond or something like that, it could really choke it out quick. So, but anyways, we just appreciate everyone's patience with it, and hopefully when it really warms up here, end of April, that ramp will be open and everyone can use it again for recreating.
And herbicide and all should destroy it.
Oh yeah, and again, he said all that stuff's safe. It's not going to cause any issues like that. So,
good deal.
But anyway, so that was something going on up there at Deer Point, and I also want to talk about. We have the redfish survey. We talked last month on the show about the stock assessment that was done for red drum that was across the state, and we talked about our region, how they're doing real good. I mean, redfish are doing good. But we want to keep them that way. We want to keep them going good, and we increased the bag limit a few years back to 2 fish per person. In the Northwest region, Northeast region, they're throwing around the ideas. When I say they, that's FWC and the rule, and the commission when it comes to making rules. They're throwing around the idea of maybe reducing the bag limit back to 1 in the Northeast region. We don't know if we're going to do that over here yet. So what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to get feedback. They've talked to a lot of charters. They've talked to a lot of guides. They want to hear from private anglers as well. How do you think redfish are doing? What's been your experience over the last couple of years? And we talked about we've had red tide. We've had this increased bag limit now. Just over the past year that could have affected those populations. So we want to hear, are you catching a lot of them? What sizes are you catching? Things like that. The way you can do this survey, you can go to myfwc.com, click on saltwater fishing, and then red drum survey, or you can go on the MyFWC Facebook page and take it. And it's real quick. It takes 2 minutes, and it's really going to help our biologists gather more information so we can make a good decision on what they want to do with redfish. So
good information there. So, and we talked about it before, and we really that's why so many people be involved in it, so they can make a good, wise decision based on what people are seeing out there.
Exactly, because just me personally fishing over the past year, I haven't seen as many redfish. Now that could have been from the red tide. Then I've talked to other people; they've caught a lot. So they want to hear back, and the areas you fish. Sometimes if you're fishing way up in the backwaters in the bays, you might be getting a lot more than some of the people that are fishing around the pass and around some of the deeper docks around St. Andrews, the channel out there.
And we're getting a lot of feedback from the St. Andrews Bay system, but we need Salton Hatchet Bay system strong, and also the Apalachicola Bay system. and even down around Carabel. So we need to hear from all those folks down there too.
Exactly, and it's important. So if you get time to do it and you're passionate about redfish, we'd appreciate your input.
Okay. All right, we're going to take our final break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the final segment of Panhandle Outdoors. We sure appreciate your viewership this morning, and we're hoping everybody's getting ready to have a great day. But let's go to our fishing game times today, brought to us by Mark Coward of Counts Realty, and we're looking at 2 times this morning, 12:40 to 2:40. But this right after lunch today, 1:01 to 3:01. A 2-hour block. They're going to be jumping in the boat and flying all over the place. So. That was our time. Now, I want to make sure I got an announcement here. C&G Sporting Goods, they're having the Wild Turkey Contest again like they did last year. Ronnie Groom put that together last year. It turned out great. In fact, I was very involved in it because my little granddaughter Ashley got 2nd place last year. Now, one good thing about it is no pre-registration like they do in a buck contest. All you do is turkey must be brought in whole and not dressed. It'll be scored by the weight plus the length of the beard and spurs. And only the longest beard will be scored. Turkey will be scored at C&G, and also or either Feathers Forever Taxidermy at Dead Lakes Drive in Weewall by Tim Owens, and they must be taken in Bay Gulf here in the Panhandle. Okay, all our counties here. In the event of a tie, the first bird checked in wins. So first place is a free turkey mount by Tim Owens of Feathers Forever, and he does an amazing job with the turkeys. Also, 2nd place now, this is what Ashley won last year, a $50 gift certificate to C&G. 3rd place, $25 gift certificate to C&G. So good hunting on that, hunt safely, and we'll talk more about that. But that contest is going again, the big bird. Okay, what you got now?
All right, let's talk about. It seems like we talk about this every time, but it's coming up. It's big for our area. We're going to talk about red snapper. Mm-hmm. We still don't have the dates for federal red snapper. Everyone's anxiously awaiting the decision of the Gulf Fisheries Management Council to see how many days we're going to get in federal waters. We know state, they're going to approve this season here in our April commission meeting. They added 8 days to the state season. Yeah. We're still going to have it open there in May 7th, excuse me, through July 10th. And then it's going to close then the weekends in the fall in September and October, Saturdays and Sundays. But what they did on that late season that's just open on the weekends, they added Fridays. Okay. So every Friday they added, that gave us 4 more per month, 8 more days. Good. So it just opens the weather window a little more. A lot of people, they can only go on the weekends, so it's just going to help them out. So that's cool. We know we got 78 days. Federal season, from what I've heard, it's going to open beginning of June. Okay. We don't know how many days yet, but we will know soon in April. Probably next time I come on the show, we'll have the dates, and that way everyone knows, because that's the big question right now.
And June is always shaping up to be a big month on fishing. I mean, by laws and regulation, everything's sort of going to fall together this year.
It is.
And that's good.
Definitely, especially they're going to do GAG opening it up a month early in June.
They're all coming together. June's going to be some fine fishing, folks. If you hadn't made your reservations or got made plans for June, you want to fish in June, I'm telling you, offshore. You want to do that.
It's going to be great. You can go out there and keep gag grouper and red snapper at the same time. That's fun. Okay, let's talk about case of the month real quick.
Case of the month.
This is, we got turkey season opened up. This was actually the weekend before opening day of turkey, which was youth season. And this was over in Wakulla County. I'm going to mention a few officers over there: Fletcher, Nelson, Miller, Boutwell, and Raker. Those guys did a great job. They were working youth turkey. The youth season is a great opportunity for kids to get out there and work these birds and stuff before the general public gets out there. So the youth being under 16 years old, and they're the ones that need to be hunting. Now, can you go out there and help them call and sit with them and help? Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about. You know that more than anybody.
Yeah.
We want young people to go out there and learn how to fish and hunt. But you can't pull the trigger. You can't do that, and that's the same on youth duck season. So they were working youth turkey season, and there was actually some adult guys out there hunting during the youth season. And so they were hunting during the closed season because it's only open for kids at that point. And again, that's under 16 years old. And not only were they hunting out of the season, but they were also hunting over bait. And we talked about that earlier. You can't do that. They knew what they were doing, so they were caught. Actually, the officers got out there before daylight and did a great job. And there's a lot of work that goes into making these turkey cases, and we're actually able to hear them calling actively turkey hunting and had a gobbler answer the hunters. Then they went in there and made the case, and of course they were standing pretty much in corn, at the same time. So, anyways, it was a good job by those guys, and it's a real fun case to make as a fish and wildlife officer. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's fun.
Well, and you stop and think about that. It's like taking candy from the baby or whatever. But you stop and think they could have had the same enjoyment. They could have, by taking the youth out there, they could have called the bird up. They watched everything and done it legally, and they could have had the kids shot it. If they wanted to keep the turkey, they could have done that. So
exactly.
I mean, it really have been just as easy and a lot more enjoyable letting someone else kids shoot it. So you wonder about the mentality of the criminal mind of these people when they do stuff like this. And every time you bring a case in here, I'm in awe sometimes of the stupidity and the selfishness of some of the outdoorsmen.
You're exactly right, and those words do come to mind. So.
We call it that way. I guess one day you look forward to maybe coming in one day and say, hey, Coach, I don't have a case of the month. Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever happen.
That'd be nice, but we'll see. We'll see if that day comes.
Okay, we got about a minute left, Travis. So we got you ready to get back to work, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm been ready to get back to work, but I'm gonna be sidelined for a little bit. I guess we could talk about real quick next week. Want to talk about a new thing we're going to start doing when I come on, and I've heard a lot of input from the public on this particular saltwater fish. We're going to try to do some saltwater fish ID. We got fishing season coming up. You say June's going to be hot for everything. So we're going to talk about next week the difference between a greater amberjack and a banded rudderfish. And there's a lot of different ways to tell that, and there's a lot of different ways to make mistakes too. So we're going to get some pictures of both fish, and we're going to go over some distinguishing characteristics that's going to help you, the angler, identify these fish when they get on the boat and they're flopping around and doing everything. Because I know in the past we've told people count gill rakers and stuff, and I'm going to tell you that's just not practical on a live moving fish, especially something strong as an amberjack. So it'd be a cool thing to do.
We look forward to having that segment also, along with all the other stuff you bring. So appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And hope you feel better soon.
Take care.
All right, buddy. All right, thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. You just do something really good for your fellow man. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.